it was a spectacular second half. It looked like almost an exhibition at times.
Yeah, it was great. I think obviously what we expected definitely happened. You know, obviously with the fans behind them, especially in the beginning. You know, they will try to give everything, and you have to be very composed and play the ball quick from side to side, between the lines, get on the ball, put your body in between the ball and the player, and you know, play with composure. And I think at times we did it. In the first half we could have done it better, but second half we did it much more better.
You're one of the players who actually played here before in a Scottish League Cup a few years ago, so you'll have known that they.
I've never played there, you know. No, I was playing. The game was at Hampden, Hampden Park. So it was my first time here, and you know, obviously it was a great result. Good night in Glasgow.
And a fantastic performance by your strikers tonight. Let's say that. I mean, Bobby Firmino showing in the first half and through into the second, and Mo Salah was ruthless.
Yeah, obviously they had to come, the Rangers in this case. So the spaces will be there if you play it well, and they obviously the quality they have, and they showed again tonight is we need for the rest of the season, of course. So yeah, good goals.
Yeah, an important statement tonight. Well, there's a lot of people questioning Liverpool, and you've heard all this before, but I mean, is it important for morale and to boost everybody's confidence?
Well, obviously it's not a bad thing winning 7-1 over here. Obviously, I think from the outside point of view, obviously everyone expected us to win here, but we take it game at a time. Obviously, we know that we're in a tough period, and we take it game by game, and that's how we approach tonight. That's how we will approach from now on the big one on Sunday. You know, they are in fantastic form. It's always difficult games against each other for both sides. So we'll prepare well, recover, and be ready for Sunday.
Thanks, Richard.
Thank you very much.
Is there an argument that the scoreline is significant in terms of Liverpool's season and where they found themselves in recent days?
Quite possibly, yeah. There was always the concern after everybody questioning Liverpool's start. Would it be? Everybody saying it might be a good time to play Liverpool.
Can't go with the fact you've basically lost your voice.
Absolutely. No, I think for the first 45 minutes was a game, but Liverpool just took it to a new level and stepped up. They didn't step up one gear, stepped up 2 or 3 gears, and it was a mismatch in the second half.
And people have loved enjoying watching Liverpool struggle. You know, that's often how we operate, isn't it, in this country? But let's really look at what this is about. You know, they had that huge season last year, sort of 64 games, hardly any break over the summer. They've had serious injuries. It's really interesting to see how much people are relishing it. And actually, if we look at the facts around why it may have happened, you could argue that this is still a hangover from the fact they could have won the lot last season and didn't.
Well, exactly, and I'm not sure. I mean, struggling by their standards, it's been an average start to the season. But
domestically, 14 points off the top.
Champions League, it's virtually signed and sealed after 4 games. Still 2 games left in the group, so that's a big tick in the box. And yeah, domestically, they're off the pace at the moment. They're putting a couple of incredible performances. I mean, we've seen a 7-1 tonight. We've seen a 9-0 against Bournemouth. Started the season sloppy, no question about it. And I still think there's a few cracks. You know, we looked at them in the first half, and we were. You know, I'm sure we'll go into a bit more detail about the goal that they conceded and another goal that they could have conceded. So I still think there's a little. They're not quite the same, but these people that are saying, "Oh, Liverpool have gone, they're not the same," and all this rubbish. I mean, well, that's what it is. It's rubbish. Don't forget, a couple of seasons ago, Liverpool had a really poor season in the COVID season. I mean, really poor season. And look what happened the next season. They bounced back. Last season, they were inches away from being one of the all-time greatest teams, and now a few games in, everyone's saying they're rubbish. I mean, come on.
Listen, you can say that people are reveling in the decline, or the mini decline of what we're seeing at the beginning of the season. There are going to be opposition fans that are going to be happy with that because Liverpool have been successful the last few years. But I don't think they're as far away as people are making out. And you saw today, Mo Salah, he may have been a little bit off form, but he comes on today, gets a hat-trick. I think the important thing today is there's individual moments in this game that could switch from being people lacking confidence to going, oh, I feel like I'm back again. And it doesn't matter who it's against. Putting the ball in the back of the net I wasn't one that done it. These guys will tell you that feeling never can't get bored of that. All it does is breed confidence, whether it's a tap in or whether it's a worldie. He managed to get 3 today. Firmino managed to get 2. I'm sure them players will be going into this next game against Man City, huge game, bouncing with confidence, but still, I think there will be fragile minds as well when things maybe don't go their way. This team are accustomed to going one behind in games. Yeah. It's happening far too often. That's one of the things I think that will be irking the manager. He'll be sitting there going, why is this? Why can't we start the game properly? Why are we giving teams a 1-0 goal start at the moment? They're little things they've got to change for their season to make a drastic change.
Well, let's have a look then at the goals from the second half. Firmino, I mean, brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant. I said before the game, I was a great admirer of his game knowledge, his game intelligence, and I just really think he's an extremely clever player.
You said you'd like to have played him, wouldn't you? The way he plays.
Real. He's one of these players, if you make a run, he knows where you are. There's only certain players have got an awareness of people where they are on the pitch, and he's one of them. Whether he's receiving the ball or he's making a run, he just knows. He's looking there to see where Tavernier is.
Great ball, isn't it?
It's a brilliant ball. Ken should probably went back with him a lot earlier, but I'm looking at Firmino. The first thing he does, he looks to see where the right back is, knowing, okay, I'll stay this side, and that's where I'll make my run. He's just a very, keeps the ball down well, obviously, and the finish, you could argue Almagre's a little bit unlucky, but it's a brilliant goal from a very, very clever player.
Yeah, he was the star player, I thought, tonight. Yes, Mo Salah came on and scored a hat-trick, but it's a lot easier to do that as a substitute, tired legs and everything else.
And a great assist.
Well, I mean, talk to me about that. The ball is slightly behind him, and most people would take a touch with their left and flick it through with their right, but he's just improvises. He's just total quality, isn't he? But as I say, it's hard breaking the deadlock in a game or equalising when it's tight, and he scored 2 really, really important goals that set Liverpool on the way, and the rest was the icing on the cake. No question. I
think in this atmosphere as well, some players can get caught up because it's such an electric atmosphere that everything's hustle bustle. Never the case with Firmino. Everything when it comes into him slows down.
Yeah.
He plays the game at his pace, and the way he's fluidity through the game, like you see there, he doesn't even have to shuffle his feet. He just improvises. That's the Brazilian samba that he's got in his game that is different to a lot of the other players.
I think he's one of these players, Firmino, when in the 45 minutes where it's all a lot of it's passion, a lot of it's high intensity. Great players like Firmino look as though they've got a split second more time on the ball.
And also he's been needed because Sadio Mane's obviously left. Mo Salah, there's been a few question marks about him. Nunez is getting used to the Premier League. Suddenly this guy's been absolutely central to Liverpool.
But even with that, you would still say maybe at the start of the season, a lot of people would have put him in 5th place, in terms of the pecking order. Now, the biggest game in the Premier League is about to take place at the weekend. I can't imagine he's not playing, so he's already, had such a good season and such a good recent, got recent form that I don't think Jurgen Klopp can leave him out at the weekend.
And using the striker's mindset, what does tonight do for Mo Salah?
Oh, what a breath of fresh air it is. I think Rio was spot on his assessment when he said, you look at Liverpool tonight, second half, brilliant. Manchester City will watch that game tonight, for example, and see Liverpool saying, excellent second half. However, they'll see 1 or 2 things that they'll fancy. Manchester City will fancy a little bit. I've no doubt about that at the weekend. However, Salah, I looked as though Salah was needing, throughout the start of the season effectively, it's not been the same. He's needed a little bit of boost, he's needed a wee jag. Tonight he comes off the bench, he'll have gone maybe mentally a little bit from there back up to there, and now you can guarantee he'll be really looking forward to the weekend.
Talking of people scoring a goal to mentally make a difference, I think Nunez's goal was important. I thought he was quite ragged in the game today. I thought for the first hour, I love his movement. I think he's a real try, a real good runner, and makes some great runs, galloping runs into the channels. But his end product today was just a little bit off,
just a bit slack,
ragged, wasn't
I don't
it?
think it's 100%
he needed that
tight.
goal.
Nothing's looking clean with him at the moment.
Yeah.
He's snatching, and you guys will know better than me as forwards. In the moments when you're not scoring goals, you just make quick decisions. You think, I want to get rid of it, try and score as quick as possible, and it's rather than taking an extra touch, taking your time and slotting things. But the goal that he scored was a very good finish.
Indeed. Well, let's have a look, shall we, at the Mo Salah hat-trick. What was it? Just over 6 minutes?
6 minutes, 12 seconds, I believe. Class. I mean, the one off the inside of the post is probably the pick of the bunch. But his movement's good, as you'd expect. He takes great touches. This is a brilliant touch with his right foot. What his touch with the right foot does, it takes it away and makes it impossible for Barisic, your left back. But again, the finish, it's the only thing he can do. He can't side foot it, he can't drive it. It's impossible because I think it's Davis that's coming across. He can't side foot it with his left foot. All he can do is bang, jab it, toe poke.
I think that was his best goal tonight, because I think it was the hardest goal.
You might be right.
Hardest goal, but this one was like, again, you in that area inside the left back, great run. That's what I love. The top players, we talked about Firmino. Watch here when he rolls his studs on the ball. This is slowing the game down. When this normally gets hazy for other players, he sees it clear. You can argue the keeper, maybe it goes in a bit slow. He could get across the goal quicker, but the fact he slowed it down and then played at his own pace, picked his spot, that's the top level, the difference.
Yeah, I mean, I thought the goalkeeper either was expecting him to curl it into the far corner like he did for his last goal, or he got his angles wrong. The first goal, I thought, one thing that we were missing and in terms of touching on was his strength. This lad is one of the strongest footballers around. He's got a low centre of gravity. But this is stereotypical Mo Salah for me. If I think of a Mo Salah goal, that's it. Cutting in from the right-hand side, curling into the far corner.
Is that your favourite, Ali?
Do you know something? That's brilliant, but as Michael says, you kind of expect him to score that goal. The more I see his first goal, where he's got no backswing, he can't side foot it, the only thing he could do is kind of jab, toe poke. That's a top class finish.
He can do that in his sleep. That looks harder than it actually is. I think Mo Salah scores that plenty of times out of 10. That first goal, the way he brought it down with his weak foot, when it's going over your head is a hard skill, then body in between them, and then, as you say, the only thing he could do, I mean, that was a seriously good goal, that first one.
The first one, everything had to be perfect about that first part of the goal, the touch, and then to get his body in between him and the man and the ball. If he gets that wrong, he doesn't get the chance to have the next bit, and it's exquisite in terms of touch.
Harvey Elliott was made to wait just a couple of minutes longer for his first Champions League goal for Liverpool. There was that lovely moment, though, where Mo Salah came, put his arms around him, and they kind of waited together, had their fingers crossed. He was like, it was really nice, wasn't it?
Well, it was lovely, but the fact of the matter is they should have been up here, because we knew it was a goal, didn't we? We absolutely knew it was a goal. I mean, there was a lot of uncertainty. And
they were just adding to the tension and the drama, Ali.
I think Steve said in commentary the only thing he think it could possibly have been was maybe Jota affecting the goalkeeper at some point, but no, that looked good. I mean, the timing the run from there, Salah is well onside, Tavernier's playing him onside, ball comes across, Jota's onside, you can see along the lines, absolutely fine. And he finishes it well, right foot volley.
I must say, I was really pleased for Harvey. I think him and Carvalho, we spoke about before the game, two young lads coming into such a hostile environment and putting on the performances they did, especially in the second half. Up the levels, they were a big part of that. And to get a goal at the end of it, I thought they were well deserved.
It was actually a decent finish with his weak foot. I know people think, oh, it's an open goal, but they're not that easy. And one thing is, I think Jota will be a little bit upset that he didn't hit it first time, because it probably should have been his goal.
All right, well, on every level, an absolutely brilliant night for Liverpool this evening, but a chastening night certainly for Rangers. Let's get the thoughts of Emma and Kenny, who are down pitch side. Emma.
Thank you, Jake. Well, for 23 minutes, everything was going according to plan for Rangers. And for 45 minutes, things were sort of going according to plan for Rangers, until it wasn't, Kenny. We haven't seen anybody out of the Rangers dressing room yet, which perhaps is understandable. But what does a result like this do for that group of players in there at the moment?
It'll be soul destroying for them. It's another heavy defeat at this level, albeit against a Liverpool team that were excellent in the second half. I still think, looking at a lot of the goals, there's things that Giovanni won't be happy with. There's no doubt about that. More importantly, I think, in moving forward, I think the injury to Connor Goldson, another injury to Ryan Jack, will prove costly, particularly the Goldson one. I think when he is the rock back there, like we talked about it, you hear the lads on the commentary, he's barely missed a minute, never mind a game, over his time at Rangers. So he'll be a big loss, and you've just got to keep your fingers crossed that it's not too long out for Connor Goldson, because he's the heartbeat of that Rangers defence.
And that's the thing, isn't it? His injury was definitely a turning point in the game, and it's no slight on Leon King, who came on, but you can't get away from the fact that until then, Rangers were still very much in that game.
Yeah, they were, and I just think he holds things together. He's such an influential player for the people about him. I think even for James Tavernier, the captain, it's good to have his mate, the guy who's been alongside almost 300 times over the last 5 years or so, that he knows exactly what's going on there. And like I say, it's just going to be a big loss for him, because now you've got to dust yourself down for this. It's a heavy defeat. Yeah, you've got to look at it. You'll have to improve on things. So you've still got 2 Champions League games to go, and you don't want to go through it. We said it before. We've got a goal tonight. Rangers got a goal, which is their first goal for a while. They're still not a point, you know. So you don't want to get through these 6 games without a point. So there's still little things to play for, but more importantly, you've got league games and league duty and cup games next week as well to get momentum back and get wins. So there's still so much to play for, but you need to look at this and learn, dust yourself down and get ready to go again at the weekend.
The scoreline suggests it's a very harsh learning curve for Rangers, but is it a very good example of the difference in quality? You know, the Liverpool's ability to bring that strength off the bench and also to keep their concentration and composure over the 90 minutes where perhaps Rangers couldn't match that.
Well, when you see the players that are coming on, it's they've got a lot of players missing through injury, a lot of big players, but when you're bringing that quality footballer on, it was always going to be a tough night for Rangers, particularly at the end of the game, where they've put so much into it. Like you say, a lot was going right in the first half. I think when you look at the stats of the game, it was quite a level game in regards to shots, possession, passes, everything was quite level. Like Ali said, though, Liverpool went up 2 or 3 levels in the second half, and they punished Rangers for, I wouldn't say mistakes, but a structure kind of went a little bit defensively. A lot of clearances. Fabinho was picking up, he was front foot and aggressive, and then when they get the opportunity, some of the play to cut through Rangers, it was pretty impressive.
Well, Kenny is no longer the most recent Rangers player to score a goal in the Champions League. That, of course, is Scott Arfield, but I guess in that dressing room right now, that will mean very little to him.